Ah, yes. Probably going to be my favorite video in the series. This was supposed to be also a call to that, like, I don't know, TikTok audio I hear or Instagram audio. I don't know where it originated from, but the whole, like, your next opponent is you. And then it's boom, boom. I don't know what the... Then we got the little devil and angel, and I tried to do like a little guy meditating in the center, balancing the two energies, little half halo, half horn. Universe, one being, one. You've probably heard other creators in this sphere talk about the YOUniverse. It's the YOUniverse, not a uncommon, popular used breakdown of the word universe. Also, the one I like is, a verse is in a song. It's in a song. So it's like all this whole play, stories, art, love, life, pain is like the whole, it's all one song. We're all singing one song. And that's why music is so universal and uniting, and the arts are uniting. Because again, even, isn't there a music, like a production, like, I'm sure you probably don't want to sell your anything over to the music industry, but it's like there's a publishing company called Universal or something like that. Anyways, long story short, one being the universe. It's the YOUniverse. Your next opponent is you. Oh man. It's about what time is it? It's about 1:29 a.m. right now when I'm making this. And by the way, when you see these whiteboard videos, I did them all together, just one after the other, because this information was just coming to me. So I was like, okay, I gotta do it then. Like, it's coming to me for a reason, so let me get it done. This may be my last one, though I may film the next one, but it just may be short. This one's definitely gonna be short. It's gonna be simple. These are things I talk about all the time. But you're really here going against yourself. No one else. Watch my 2 last videos. Something earlier, and I already know what I was going to say because I thought about this before I said it. Something happened to me earlier that was very interesting, right? Where it happened because I was literally trying to be careful. I was operating from a place of, I don't want to step on anyone's toes, a fear, right? And literally because I was operating in that frame, I made a decision that seemed logical, and it still led me to the end where I ended up making like a mistake, like a little oopsie, right? And what's funny is I looked at it and it really inspired this whole deep video, because everything is energy. You don't get away from God. It's all God, So it cracked me up because I was like, wow, in me trying to be so careful because of being so mindful and like trying to be so like on top of the way I was moving, I fumbled. And then it felt like all that effort was literally for naught, right? And it brings me to this, right? Because the theme for me for the last few months, if you're new to the channel, I had a series called the Super Unhinged Manifesting series. During that series, you literally see me create in real time. I literally manifested a career that was literally aligned with everything that I was saying during the series. You can watch it in real time, just to prove to you that you're creating reality. The insane part is I came to a very deep understanding that the only reason I was doing this was because of external factors. A pattern that I'm starting to learn that needs to drop by this point with all the information that I've learned and all the experiences that I've had in spirit and just craziness that I've experienced. Yeah, it's time to stop playing around with my energy because I'm being like a part-time God. I'm not right now currently. I'm not bringing that energy back to the present moment, but I'm saying it because yeah, there are moments where I catch myself not even realizing how sneaky the ego can be. The ego is trying to protect you, by the way, but that it will keep you in the same reality or similar things. It'll keep attracting similar things. And that's why I made this video. That's why this video inspired the first two that came out. This was going to be first. But I thought, let me get the other ones out first, because I started getting downloads about play and the playground thing, and I was like, yeah, let me do that first. But this one was the real video that inspired me to even grab the whiteboard and do all this, because I was like, that's so insane. And it brought me to the realization that your opponent is you. When you get to a degree, let's say this. This is another one, this is borrowed from another being. It talks about how oneness is zero. And I actually brought this up in one of the other videos. But let's just do it like this. 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. Because it resets 1, and then in numerology 1 plus 0 goes back to 1, 1 plus 2, which is 11, 2, so forth. So 9 numbers. This is like God, let's say, and this is also God. Oop. Or universe, whatever you want to say, go back to the universe. You walked out here taking all these conditions. And no matter which way you go, whether you ascend or whether you take off the conditions, you'll still end up back at God, right? And what I realized today with the like oopsie I made is I'm like right here. I mean, I could just hype myself up more and be like, I'm past. But no, there are still things in the physical that get me. So let's say I'm at 7. And I realize, man, these 2 little points right here can be so sneaky. And that was the thing that happened today. And let's say these 2 things were the thing that happened today that inspired this whole video and my manifesting series, and the Super Unhinged manifesting series. Because I realized why I was going so in is so I could change something outside of myself. Isn't that the irony? When manifestation in this whole universe happens internal. So internally I did shift, but it ended up creating, and it's funny because I'm seeing certain things happen in the 3D that I'm not giving meaning to, that are literally because of this realization, and I've just been laughing every time I see it pop up. Everything in my awareness, I crack up. I was literally told one thing about this position that I got that then ended up becoming something else. It's a long story. Again, membership video content or anyone who works with me one-on-one. You get the details. That's the part you gotta pay for. I'm just joking. But it would probably come out in another video. But what I realized is, man, this consciousness game is so sensitive. Like, so sensitive. And I've known this before, but now where I'm at the point where everything is like deja vu, I get that so Raven moments, and I see how words that I say can literally end up manifesting a couple hours later from someone else saying it, or something popping up in my reality. It's absolutely nuts that this shit is sensitive, and you need to be so mindful, especially when you start, if you're going from here. So I'll say here is like, getting into crystals, normal things, meditating, learning about chakras, and then like you start realizing how it's the mind, and then you're like, oh damn, and you start really going up. And mind you, taking all of this off, because the beginning is the same as the end, not everyone needs all that, and that's what you realize. You kind of end up realizing, oh snap, my sarcastic, normal kid self and having fun self was the point the whole beginning. A lot of people, when they go through this spiritual experience or spiritual journey, end up healing their inner child. Well, your inner child was here. You grow up ages 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to get to your adulthood, only to look back at your childhood and be like, oh, I'm doing all this to make you happy. Yeah. It's a beautiful game, isn't it? I said, isn't it? That came out natural. What the fuck? That was a past life right there. But it's interesting, isn't it? And it just made me realize, like, wow, you have to be doing this for you, man. Because if not, you can get caught in the play between here. And the thing is it's okay to experience this. Like, there's nothing bad about it, you know. We're in a physical we're in a physical existence. You're meant to have these experiences. You're meant to love. To me, I like, this is the knowing I keep in my mind, or I'll say belief. Let's separate it. I'll say I like, one of the theories or the beliefs is that God got lonely, and so this unity split up into 1 plus 1 equals 3. Haha. Mother plus father equals the child. But, and you know, and then you can expand that. But God got lonely, because if you're this infinite all-knowing being in this infinite sea of consciousness, well then, like, you kind of know everything and how everything's gonna end, begin, create, different timelines, blah blah blah, right? So I like thinking of that theory that this is basically just the experience of God being lonely and creating this whole playground, right? But then there are some beings here that end up, you know, being like, okay, I want to go home because something else took over this system. That's for another video about what it had. Yeah, that's another video, because we can talk about theories, conspiracies, stuff like that. Anyways, long story short, still brings me back to the point that this work right here is some of the most important work you're going to do in your life, because it single-handedly controls where all of your energy flows and goes into a day-to-day basis. Like, all the decisions you make, all the things you manifest, even how you interact with the other beings that are here. This is the most, it's the most important to your journey. And I recognize that when I did what I did earlier and was like, no way. And literally, because I'm not operating from me. Being me and operating from me, I'm already super self-aware of other people and how my, you know, moods, actions, and things affect others around me and my environment, and how going within myself and raising myself to the highest degree possible usually has the best outcome for the environment. So why am I even operating in fear? Why am I still letting, you know, 8 catch me? There's no point. 8 shouldn't even be a barrier at this point, but it can. It can be when you start to, you know, you start to slip. You know, you start to move towards here or here on the scale, but then maybe all of a sudden the bill gets you reacting. You lost a partner, whatever, and you forget that we're all the oneness. Oh, I thought I wrote oneness somewhere. But you forget that we're one being. That partner that left you in your life, still you. Those bills you're getting, still you. Still created. You don't have to react to anything that happens outside of yourself. You don't have to operate in a way. And it's funny, because the thing that I did in my personal life, I was like, wow. You know, I sat on it and I was like, wow, man, if I literally didn't have the fear of, like, what basically stopped me is, so I did a little thing where I threw something out in the wrong spot. And the reason I did it, though, was because I didn't feel comfortable going in someone else's space when they're not there. I just personally feel that as a person. Let's say the ego. If I was your roommate or something, and let's say I had to throw something out and there was a trash can in your room, and I just didn't want to go in your room while you weren't there, I threw it out in a different place that probably shouldn't have. But you see how that with good intentions and that little fear of doing something. Yeah, so anyways, long story short, that made me realize, though, I had the first thought, intuitive just thought that I had, was to throw it in the trash can in that roommate's room. But then I decided, nope, I'm a little bit scared, so I'm not going to. And yes, that's a true story that inspired this entire video, because everything really is that deep. Everything is energy. Like, no matter what, you don't get away from God. It's all energy. And it just sounded like someone died outside the room. But anyways, this video is probably over 10 minutes. I'm not sure. I'm probably gonna end it right here. But again, that just brings me to this whole point that, like, manifesting and everything, and even when it comes to fear, there's nothing you should fear. You just need to move as you, and whatever ups and downs you make or any bumps, you just gotta kind of take it with the present moment, and understand that everybody also, to a degree, will understand that we're all here learning, constantly returning back to, you know, and at the end of the day, if you ride for yourself, you can never go wrong, you know, because at the end of the day, all you really do have is the self. And when you truthfully love yourself, I feel like you attract those other beings that love themselves. You attract your community and your like-minded individuals. And you stop letting little things, small as that, fear, completely derail your time. And it's crazy because it can be the most subtle thing. You could be going up, up, up. Let's say you're focusing on yourself. You're focusing on yourself, you're leveling up, your energy is becoming you, and then X comes back in your life. Well, you go right there for a second. Then you're like, all right, I beat it, and then again. And it looks like this. And then you can just look at, if we translate that to this, it's like going from, you're going 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, like the lessons, you know. And it just made me realize about even what I manifested is like, damn man, I'm in this point where I can literally materialize stuff overnight, and I'm over here still tripping up on rushing to do something and rushing my energy into alignment just because I'm looking at how my environment may react to me. I have to stop moving like that, because if I do that, I'm gonna fucking go out of alignment like this so many times. I'm gonna fall and do this. And it's like, if my environment isn't requiring me to move in that certain way, then I need to take that W that I got. And there's a lot of people in that situation that need to understand this too. There's some people that are down in the depths, that they have no choice but to go up in manifestation. And there's some people who are just sitting there cooking their timeline when they don't have to worry about anything in their physical existence. I think you guys get what I'm saying, right? And that's kind of me right now. You know, I've been in way worse situations where I needed to manifest on a pinch and just honestly like return my identity on a pinch, get it back to God, to the universe, where I started to let this motherfucker win right here inside me. Remember, by the way, you know, demon, angel, they're both you. You're the demons and the angels. They're all within you, and your ancestors. But again, like I said, you know, there's people who really cook their physical existence when nothing was going bad just because of their self-concept. They didn't focus on the universe. It's you. Everyone is you pushed out. So even, you know, that person ended up telling me like, hey, stop doing this. There's a, you know, nice trash can in my office. And I was like, I fucking knew it. And I literally wasn't going in there to not be all up in their office space. So it's just a funny thing how things play out. You gotta just not let fear and not let the assumption of what, you know, you do and your actions and who you move as this will take care of everything. And that's what I'm realizing more and more, even when it comes to decisions you make, when it comes to like what I did, manifesting a job. It's like, if I'm doing it not for me, that's probably the worst reason to be doing anything. And it was a cool opportunity. It's literally everything I said in my videos. I was like looking into a specific thing. This company had a company car and everything that they gave you after training. I was like, damn. But then I realized, bro, it's nothing. It's all being projected from within me. So like, what am I doing? I need to say I'm in my true place, deny anything else that doesn't suggest that I am, and be the I am that I am. So anyways, because we're the universe. I think I do got one left in the tank to do my last video. Let's do it. Anyways, love you guys.